Hey guys, how you doing? Just hit a bit of a milestone. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, Ben Hunt 72, 1600. Thank you very much. And I'd like to share with you how it happened. Okay, so at the start of this game, opponent Edgardo Riberos is rated 1601. I'm 1592. Was he a good sport? Absolutely. It was a cracker. Okay, so we're going to go through the game without eval and lines. Let me turn my mic off, speaker off. Okay, so I don't know why it's saying Bishop's opening. This is the Italian. Anyway, now it's the Russo accepted, and I'm already thinking, okay, I'm normally good here. Right, you shouldn't accept this gambit. This is one that like the Vienna, you just don't because of this. Knight retreats, probably best. Okay, you have to bring your knight out to protect against Queen H5 check, and also to support D5 should your queen want to move anywhere. We have Queen E8. Queen E2. I dive in now with D5, and I'm not sure here whether the correct move isn't to go straight in with the knight. Because here, if you go in with a knight, we can't force through this pawn. If we go in with a knight and they push D3, no, they can't do that. Is it if you wait for D3? I can't remember. Can't remember the line. Anyway, so now I have D5 with tempo against the bishop. Bishop retreats to B3. And now I've got the option of recapturing the pawn, but I decide to go in with the knight because I just want to cause pressure, right? I want to cause trouble. Queen advances here. Obviously, the bishop now guards the C2 family fork, so we can't do that. And my knight's under attack, so I flip back with my knight, capture on F5. I've now regained my pawn and another tempo on the queen, so I've got this beautiful pair of pawns in the middle, adjacent knights covering a whole heap of squares around themselves. Queen spins round, and I thought simply C6. Why not? It's now imprisoned this bishop over this side of the board because all of these squares are covered. So this bishop becomes very bad, and you make a note to self: don't trade off that bishop. Right? It really is. It's like a 1.5 point bishop at this point. So now I'm looking for tic tacs, especially after they push D3. So I had a look around. Well, what happens? This, that, and the other. I figure it's probably fine if he takes. I'll just recapture with another tempo against the queen. But I'm also noticing, hello, 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 right? So wouldn't it be great to put my bishop here? But I can't. So, A5. Thinking, is my opponent going to spot this? He really should do. He's 1600 rated, right? He does. He pushes A3. So that's that idea kind of out the window. But he's been forced to push a pawn here. Maybe he didn't want to push that pawn. Maybe it doesn't really help his position, right? But he's had to block a punch there. So now what do we do? Bishop E6. And why am I pushing bishop E6? Well, I'll tell you why. Because my idea is to push D4. I was toying with the idea of D4 at this point, but D4, I want to push the queen back here. I just want white to just be suffocating under the weight of his own reactions, But I figure if I do this now, the queen actually has got the chance to come to here, and we don't want that, do we? Precious. So bishop E6 with the idea D4, and then a queen can't come here because boom, I have her head. Bishop comes out, pins the knight, makes no difference. D4 comes, back goes queenie, and now we have to have a think. What do we do? We've got some bishop tension, we've got potentially some tension going off here, and I've got these two monster pawns, and I've got to consider what happens if this, because this knight's actually pinned, so I can't take there because I lose my queen. So I decide to push on through. Break on through to the other side. Now, opponent has 1, 2, 3 bits looking at this, but the point is, and I know my king's still in the middle as well, but I figure what the hell not. So here I just lose my nerve a little bit. My bishop's hanging anyway, right? So I notice my bishop's hanging here, by the way, because it's undefended. Okay, so it's en prise and undefended, i.e. hanging. But I figure with this comes with a greater threat, so he hasn't got time to take my bishop because I take queen with check and win. So I flinch and do that, but this is not bad. Look at these pawns, look at that horrible rook stuck in the board. This knight can't even get out in the board, right? So I'm sure black is better here. And now I decide to come in, capture the pawn. I think I didn't really notice the bishop there. He takes with the bishop, I recapture. Okay, so material is equal. He's down to 2 knights though, and nothing's developed. Look what he's got. He's got nothing. His pawns are in a state, right? And now it's a case of who's going to castle. Obviously I'm attacking his queen. Obviously he captures with check. So bishop e7 now. And I really want to castle. Now, so does he. He wants to get his king to safety as quickly as he can, so out comes the knight to f3. And what do you do here? If you're thinking, strategically, I need to stop my opponent castling, what do you do? Right. So I start with a tempo move. Again, knight to d5, centralizes the knight, it's on a protected square, and it hits the queen. Queen now moves to here. What that does is it now opens up this diagonal, right? And lo and behold, I have 2 pieces that can go onto that diagonal. If either of those, that's not a very good line, is it? If either of those pieces is on that diagonal, white can't castle, because he'd be castling into check, and you're not allowed to do that. So I go for queen b6 rather than bishop c5, and I figure out that he can push this pawn, and he probably should. But what he does is he plays queen there. Okay, so I grab this free pawn because it was forked anyway, and this, and now again, look, there's another alignment issue, right? That he's kind of stumbled into. So what I'm thinking is, wouldn't it be great to play this move? Well, I can't play that move, can I? Because queen takes bishop. So, at this point, I just castle. Now, that has the advantage of pinning this knight. Excuse me. Now he pushes the pawn and appears to shut the door on the bishop, but actually the bishop has another way round. So I'm threatening this again. And now again I have to calculate. He's still got 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes. I've got just over 6 minutes on the clock. Now I'm looking at this. This at first I say to myself, this wins, right? There. A knight can't take because I take the queen. And this is where it's important not to stop thinking. Because if opponent does a non-move, right? I take here, knight takes here, I take queen and say hooray, and he takes aha. But I take your queen. I've actually lost the piece for a pawn. Not very clever, is it? Okay. So anyway, this is what he does. He brings his knight out with tempo defending this knight. But what's he done? He's blocked the defense of b2. So I have a look at it and think, actually, that's all right. And then the other thing is, as well, is that if I do now do that my queen's not on either of these squares where the knight can attack it. So he can't take with the knight. So he hits me with the rook. I just come back here. Again, not on either of these two, these 2 squares, right? Where the knight might go. So now this is a genuine threat. Would be a game-winning thing. He hits my queen again. I just go, all right, I'll have another pawn. Sod, I don't mind, right? And I'm thinking, you haven't even got time to capture on b7 because this is on, right? And then I say to myself, this rook is the only defender of this rook, right? Out loud, because I talk to myself a lot when I'm playing, right? When I'm not talking to you. And he does this. And I take his rook and he resigns and I get to call myself a 1600 rapid player. Thank you very much. We'll hit the game review because I'm sure there's always loads to learn from every game, win or lose. But yeah, nice. And I've got a over the board match as well tonight. 73. Yeah, so look, I got a huge advantage here. And then I gave it all back again. And then I kind of ground it out again. Okay, 73, I figure that 70 is maybe around your, no, forget that, don't matter. For me, 75 is around my normal rating. Okay, so it's given me 1550 for that game. which is below the 1600 that I am. Opponent did even worse though. That's mistakes. Okay, let's go through, particularly the opening. Okay, yeah, it doesn't like this, but takes is even worse. I do this. It says equal now actually, but Knight f6 is good. It says the best move is going to be d5, but d5 is a really weird line because the queen comes out. You have to move your king. It's all a bit. I'll show you. Queen comes out. King e7, and then you attack. I mean, seriously? This is just painful. And black at the end of this is half a pawn up, right? With no castling right. I just, you know, I figure, nah. I do this. I always do this. It's 0.3 pawns different. Queen there is a mistake. And here I think, oh. So this would not be right then at this point. Is that what you're telling me, Fishy? So, Hunty did well. We didn't burn him. Oh, it can't even make up its mind. Okay. But anyway, I do this. And this is all fine. Okay, bishop retreats, maybe not ideal, could have pinned the knight, but hey. Now it likes this move. It likes this move. Bishop c5 is best here. Developing. Preparing to castle. It's a thought. But I come in with a threat. Queen comes here. Oh, hello. Threatening all kinds of mischief. The double attack, discovery on the queen. Yeah, got to remember that one. Anyway, so this is okay. Queen there is okay, that's the best move. And I'm winning. Okay, so let's see how I manage to stop winning. That's okay. Queen b6 is best. Okay, really kind of pressurizing the f-pawn, I guess. Yeah, they had to do that. Okay, best move. I'm happy about this move because that's not a very hunty move. It feels like I've shed my skin and grown a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But then I'm a 1600. I am a 1600 rapid player. I mean, I've been 1600 before. I reached 1675 or something like that. I had a right purple patch. In fact, I had a super slump about a year ago, and then bounced back and reached 1675, but only momentarily, and then, you know, normal service resumed. Okay, opponent plays his bishop out. He didn't like that move. It says I don't like that move, Hunty, very much. It says you should have just played bishop e7, go on castle, and then crack on. If I was in a lesson, I don't think I'd be proposing that move because I'm a lot more grown up when I do lessons. You know, I act all serious and grown up. Okay, queen goes back. That's good. You know, it says trade the damn bishop off. But I do that next anyway. Now it says you shouldn't have traded the damn bishop off. Curse you, fish, and all you stand for. How? What? What the huh? Okay, so this gives him the chance to push here, build a Paunus Chainus Maximus. Right? That's a Paunus Chainus Medius. I think probably Maximus would be at least a 4, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. So very much a kind of a move order thing. But yeah, he just snatched at the recapture, right? Again, you know, we are intermediate players. We make mistakes, and he snatched at it. This is what we do. Okay, I took here. Said I should have took with the pawn and hassled the queen more. But I don't know. I mean, I just really like the idea of having my knight stuck down his throat, stopping the king from moving, you know, that kind of thing, with threats of like this and stuff like that. But then, you know, the fish moves in mysterious ways, so who knows. Takey. He said you shouldn't have took the Queen e7 first, blocking in the bishop, and then probably take it. Queen e7, knight f3, then you take. Whatever, fish. Whatever. So again, but you know, that's the thing. There are more accurate moves. It looks so natural to recapture. We've both just done it in a couple of moves, haven't we? Okay, takes this, but says queen, even better. And here I've got the tiniest edge. Okay, centralizing the knight, very good. I like, very good move. Queen back is good. Queen here is good. He says you can castle also. This is not good. He says you should have. I thought you should have pushed the pawn. I actually expected him to push the pawn. He never pushed the pawn, and that just wasn't great because I had what? I had this. You having a laugh? Is he having a laugh? What? Knight e3 is best. I can't. I don't know why. All right, yes, it stops castles. It stops castles for reasons that we just talked about. That's the reason I put my stupid knight there in the first place. And I guess this threatens... No, because queen just... I don't get it. And it's saying here the king would go to e2, which is just like... No. Anyway, I do this. Now, I'm slightly better here. He castles, so do I. Fish approves. Fish now disapproves of this. And disapproves of that as well. Okay, but you know what? I don't seek the Fish's approval. All right, queen takes, b2 is best. I ain't even bothered. Look at my face. I ain't even bothered. That's a mistake. Should have took the pawn. Yeah? That's a mistake. Well, I took the pawn, innit? And that's just a mistake. Yeah? And then I win. But very happy with that. Very happy indeed. Yes, very happy. And I think it's put a bit of wind in my sails for going into my over the board match this evening against Worksop B. Last time I got into a very good position against Mr. England, who outplayed me in the end game, but then flagged, and we ended up with a draw of timeout due to, versus insufficient material. So let's see if I get you again. And this time I'm bigger and better and badder, and I'm 1600 rated. Okay, so I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.